GeoShred is based on physical modeling. There have been a lot of synthesizers that have come along through the years that have been using physical modeling, but you haven't seen a whole lot of it. And one of the reasons you haven't seen a whole lot of it, it's very difficult to harness the physical model to achieve the musical results that you want, and it's difficult for people to actually use physical modeling generally. So one of the challenges was to try to bring this very powerful technology to this very popular device and to harness it and make it a musical experience for the player and also for the user. So I spent a lot of time with my team looking at the depth of physical modeling and kind of being amazed at it, but also trying to figure out what kind of controls to offer to the user and what we really wanted to do with all of them. So I'm very pleased with the end result. There's a lot of things that are very deep, but there's also a lot of things that are kind of easy to get to, that are very appealing to get to. So let's take a look and see how that all rolls. Let's look at this classical guitar. If I want to get into the model, I just press on the guitar icon and I'm there. If I play a note, I had actually taken the release down a little bit, because if you play an open string on a guitar, it's going to ring a little more like, right? And you can decide that here. So on this guitar page, these are some basic parameters that we've seen before: volume, tuning, transpose. Although they do relate to the model, they're very familiar ideas. If we go into this menu right here under Instrument, these are our different models. You have a single coil neck, single coil bridge, etc., even going on to nylon and steel, so you can have some fun playing with that. But it really gets fun if you go into the strings menu. Here's where things get interesting. You can do things like this, where you can choose the material. Let's say you want to have this sound very much like a steel string guitar. So that's really the sound of steel. And this knob is called material. So as you change it and you move between steel and nylon, you're getting this very smooth kind of like organic throw between the materials. And so you get to nylon and back to steel. Right? So that's really, really fun and cool to play with. Stiffness is related to the harmonics. Every sound has harmonics. And what we do is we offer string harmonics, and we also offer bar harmonics. Like what happens when you hit a bar, like a mallet instrument. It's a really different set of harmonics. So you can kind of get in between anywhere you want. And stiffness is a very cool knob. So check it out. So I'll play something like, and take the release down, I can be like, so you're really in a different domain because all your harmonics have changed. So if the stiffness is changed to that and you start moving between steel and nylon, really opens up a whole kind of new sonic world there for you. Let's bring our harmonics back to string and our material almost all the way to steel. And then let's look at pick position. It's a guitar model, so we've analyzed everything that happens with a guitar, and we have the ability to go in and tweak it. So with pick position, you're doing exactly what it says. You're playing with the position of the pick on the string. So this column is really cool, and fundamental boost will bring up the fundamental tone, which is very useful as well. The other thing on this page is feedback. This is one of the things that's really, really cool about the model. To show you feedback really effectively, let's just go to one other patch. This is one of my favorites. It's one of the first patches in here. It's called Fripper Finger Swell. Inspired, of course, by the old days of listening to Robert Fripp and the amazing things he would do with his guitar. But I love this patch because within our model, we're able to basically reproduce what happens when a guitar goes into feedback, when a guitarist walks over to the amp and they kind of like milk that sweet spot and they get all these harmonics. Well, GeoShred does that. It does it naturally. It's not sampled. It's not some weird effect where you're crossfading between one sound and the next. It really is actual feedback. So what you can do on this sound is when your finger first goes down, if you try this, don't be surprised because there's no sound. You'd be like, man, Jordan made a pretty lousy patch here. But if your finger goes down somewhere, then slowly push up. So you press and then, so you can really express. And one of the reasons that I have these big note areas, because I wanted you to have the room to. But let's talk about the feedback. That's why we're here right now. So if you use the expression pad, it's actually a pad that you can go vertically and horizontally and have different controls on there. And you can decide that within the editing environment. So if I press a note, and then I move my pad into one of the corners, and I play a little vibrato, wow, here comes all the feedback. Then I slide to another note, and I can bring it back to the middle, and kind of take the feedback down, and then push to the side. And you really have this thing that's happening so organically, and you have to control it, so you play, and then add a little whammy. So feedback is a really integral part of what helps to make GeoShred a really sensitive and organic musical instrument.